what's kept safe in the case of like some kind of Hi everybody, welcome back to Amber Unabridged. I'm Amber and I'm here to talk about some books. I'm gonna do kind of a catch-all video, I guess, of some recent stuff, some current things, some ongoing situations, and just share it, and then we'll be there, and then that's where we'll be. Factually, what I'm going to be doing is talking about books I've read so far this year, books I'm currently actively reading, a book I'm planning to start soon, and then also a library haul that I did recently-ish. So yeah, that's the goal here. I guess first I'll talk about books that I finished. So I have so far finished 6 books this year. They're not really helping me with my other goals, but like they're fun. So without further ado, I finished Doctor Who: The Doctor Trap by Simon Messingham. It was a really fun Doctor Who story. I am a big fan. You may notice the little TARDIS right above my head. There's another one. Can't see up there. And I'm a really big fan of Doctor Who. Love it a lot. And I've been dipping into different Doctor Who novels and audio narratives and things. So I've been having a fun time with that. This one was really interesting. It really reminded me of The Greatest Game, I think, or no, The Most Dangerous Game, I think is what it's called, about like hunting people because animals don't give enough of a challenge anymore. And the evil rich guy who's trying to have this whole like competitive hunting thing decides that the most dangerous creature that could be hunted is the Doctor, and therefore all the more valuable for catching. Spoiler alert, doesn't go so well for him. So, next book that I finished, I actually physically have with me currently, which is Coming Back by Jessie Zabarski. So this is part of my library haul. I grabbed it impulsively when I was browsing the comic sections at my local library. So it was fun. It was cute. It was kind of weird. I really liked a lot of what the story was trying to do, but I really struggled to follow what it was actually trying to convey and what it was saying. So if you've read it and you have any particular insights, please let me know. Next book I finished was one of my nonfiction audiobooks. So this I am actually counting towards one of my puzzle prompts for 2024 for the ebook and audiobook categories, for the ebook and audiobook list, I should say. And I'm counting it towards the listen to a nonfiction audiobook that I own. And it is The Triumph of Seeds: How Grains, Nuts, Kernels, Pulses, and Pips conquered the plant kingdom and shaped human history, by Thor Hansen. It's a hell of a title. It was really neat. I really like nonfiction about nature, and it was interesting to think about like how important seeds are in history and in life, in present day life. It's something that I don't think a lot of people think about very often, unless maybe you're a gardener, in which case, probably fairly often. But it was just a really fascinating insight into what's important, what's kept safe in the case of some kind of apocalypse, all kinds of stuff. Just really, really fascinating. Really, really cool. The next book that I finished is The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. This is a book that I have been wanting to read since I was, teenager, a young teenager, probably a tween, probably since I was like 12. My best friend in elementary and middle school had been reading it, and I don't know why, but it always stuck with me as an interesting concept, and I really didn't know anything about the book for years and years, but I just always remembered that it existed, and I wanted to read it, so I borrowed it from Libby, and I listened to the audiobook, and it was delightful. It reminded me so much of The Neverending Story by Michael Ende. It's just this delightful, quirky, weird, fun tromp through a kind of alternate universe, and in the process learning a lot about yourself and your world and your mind, and it was just really delightful. Honestly, cannot highly recommend enough. For adults, for children, for everybody. It is awesome. The next two books that I finished were both children's picture books. I was at my brother and sister-in-law's a couple times in the last week or so, and I was present for my nephew's story time before bedtime. So we read a couple books, and they were delightful. The first one was May Among the Stars by Rhoda Ahmed and Stacia Burrington. It was about Mae Jemison, I think is her name. And she was the first black woman astronaut in the US, but I think anywhere. And just her accomplishments and how she worked really hard at it as a kid, and then she was able to go to space, and it was just a really delightful read. Next book we did for story time was Interrupting Chicken, Cookies for Breakfast by David Ezra Stein. It was just a really cute story about this chicken who was trying to have cookies for breakfast, and his dad chicken was saying no cookies for breakfast, let's just read some stories. And as they're reading the stories, all of a sudden you're like in the book, like you're reading the book that they're reading, and you're seeing the images that they're seeing, and then all of a sudden there'll be like little pasted parts over the conversation. All of a sudden the words don't quite rhyme anymore, and it doesn't really make sense, and then it's talking about cookies for breakfast. So it was actually just a really cute, fun read, and it was really funny. So yeah, can't be upset about it. So yeah, those are the books that I've read so far this year. Currently, I am working through Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I am now 288 pages into like 400 and something, 420-ish. 417. I was close. I really want to knock this one out, and then just keep working on my list. Just keep working on things. It's one of my 4 books that I brought into 2024 that I really wanted to finish, so I'm doing it. Another book that I'm currently reading is People from My Neighborhood by Hiromi Kawakami, translated by Ted Goosen. This is a collection of Japanese short stories. My friend Sam gifted this to me for Christmas because she saw a review about it on BookTube and basically gathered that it was Japanese and weird. So naturally I needed it. Which, tracks. It tracks. I'm not very far. I'm about 15 pages in, but I like it. All the stories in here are very short, and so far, yes, very weird, but also, like, they give you a lot to chew on, which I always appreciate about any story, long, short, or otherwise, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Plus, I love this cover. It's so cute. It's like a little dollhouse. A little diorama, whatever. But I like it. One of the reasons I'm excited to read that currently, aside from it being delightful and a very neat gift, is that I wanted to come into January and read some books by Japanese authors for January in Japan. Thus far, I have not done that. We will see how far I get. I'm hoping to finish this collection by the end of the month, and then I'm thinking of starting The Sound of Waves by Yukio Mishima. I have not read this. I have owned this forever, and I feel like, why not? Why not read it now? Now's the time to do it. I also have this library haul, which includes at least one manga. It's called Your Name. Stories by Makoto Shinkai, and the art's by Ranmaru Kotone. Something happened where the characters are swapping lives. I don't know. I was at the library to pick up a hold, and I left with 10 books. I don't know what to tell you. So, I guess, actually, also currently reading Finna by Nate Marshall. This is a poetry collection. I know that I saw this somewhere. Somebody mentioned it, or I saw it on a list, or it was recommended via Goodreads or Storygraph or something. I legitimately don't remember where I saw this, but immediately I was like, I want to read that. I have to read that. And so I reserved it at my local library. They had to bring it in from one of the other locations. I'm in the Milwaukee area, and my nearest branch is not that large, but all of the Milwaukee area libraries are connected, so I can request a book to pick up at my local branch, and they can bring it in from any of the libraries that would have it, which is really nice. So I got this. I'm currently reading it. This is fantastic, and I highly recommend it if you have any interest in poetry. So then when I went to the library to pick up Finna, I wanted to browse the shelves to see if they had any books that started with the letter Q. Josh over at Literary Gladiators is doing an alphabet-based thing where he has invited some other booktubers to read and review a book based on a letter he assigns us from the alphabet. And so I was like, man, I need a book with the letter Q. I had a couple ideas of things that I could read. I do actually own a book that starts with the letter Q. It's by Maeve Binchy. It's called Quintins, but I am planning on reading a different Maeve Binchy book soon, and for something that I have planned for my other channel, the Drunken Library, with Sam, and I don't want to read two Maeve Binchy books at the same time, so I'm not going to. So I went to the library to pick up this book, and I was like, oh, I'll just browse the shelves. I'll see what else there is. And I figured I would check the comics, see if there's anything in the comic section, and I just found a lot of other things that I brought home. And then I checked nonfiction, and I did find something. So one of the books, so the book that I found is Queer, There, and Everywhere, 23 People Who Changed the World by Sarah Prager. Not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. Story of my life. This is apparently a book about people who've had some sort of effect on the LGBT community. And I really don't know much else about it, but I'm excited to learn more. So that's exciting. The other nonfiction that I grabbed feels like it could have been in the comics section, but it's Drawn Together, Illustrated True Love Stories by Octavia de Riquet. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but it's apparently love stories that have been illustrated. It's a little chonky, but it looks like it's gonna be a fairly quick read. So that's the hope, that's the dream. Even though I'm not like stressing about the quantity of books I read this year, I still want to read stuff. So, we'll see. I haven't picked up many of the books. I was reading this one one day when I just wasn't in the mood for anything else, and I thought it would be quick, and it was. I finished it in one sitting. But I've been really wanting to finish Mansfield Park, so I'm hoping to pick up one of these other books soon and get going on it. Next book I picked up was Banned Book Club by Kim Hyun-suk, Ko Hyung-ju, and Ryan Estrada. It has something to do with books being banned in South Korea in the 80s, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, it says right here. Hyun-suk shares her dramatic true story of political strife, fear-mongering, and the death of democratic institutions, and the relentless rebellion of reading. So it's about some kids who get together and read books that are banned and talk about it. And I love that. So I picked it up. Next book I picked up was Galaxy, the Prettiest Star by... let me grab the name of the author, which is covered by the thing. Written by Jadzia Axelrod and illustrated by Jess Taylor with Chris Peter and lettered by Ariana Maher. I'm so bad at names. I mostly picked this up because the cover's really pretty. And I will pick up a book because the cover is really pretty. So, that's really all it took. That's all it took for me. And then the next three are the first three volumes of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan. I started reading this series. This is the third one. I started reading this series a few years ago, and I was really enjoying it. But I didn't get very far at the time, and I got distracted by other things, and so I saw it, and I was like, "Huh, let me just grab that." I think it has something to do with time travel, and that's really all I remember. And I know the art was fantastic, so I don't know. But there's time travel, and that is my shit. So I picked those up, figuring I could peruse them, kind of get going. I didn't want to go crazy and grab all of them. And then I ended up grabbing several other comics and a couple nonfiction. So we don't need to talk about my self-control and impulse issues. So anyway, so that's my library haul. That's my currently reading, my hopefully reading soon books. Let me know if you've read any of the books I got from the library or any of these other stories. So comment down below what you're currently reading and let me know if you have thoughts on any of these. Thanks.